Y'all, let's talk about this Care Credit card. Let's talk about Care Credit. Care Credit, for those of you who don't know, is basically a credit card for health services that your insurance doesn't cover, and that could be vision, dentistry, cosmetic surgery, lipo, tummy tuck, plastic surgery, hearing, and tattoo removal, etc. It's a whole list on their website of things that they cover. Now, how to apply, you can do so online or by phone. Now, if you do it online, you have to be 18 to apply, and if you do it over the phone, you have to be 21. So as far as the information that they need from you, it would be your name, your address, date of birth, social security number, your income, and housing info. You also can do an application in person with your healthcare provider who accepts Care Credit. Now, this Care Credit card also has a pre-qualification link so that you can see if you will be pre-approved and for how much without it impacting your credit score. But if you do decide to submit your application, they do pull from TransUnion. So just want to throw that out there. Now, Care Credit doesn't have a minimum of the amount that they will give you if approved, but the maximum amount this Care Credit card can hold or approve you for is $25,000. Okay, so I'm just going to assume that the higher your credit, the higher the chances of the $25,000 being your limit, or maybe the better your profile. Now, credit score needed. It says 620, but some people have said that they were approved with a 600 credit score. I'm going to assume that their credit profile wasn't full of derogatory items. Maybe they haven't been doing too many applications, therefore it wasn't a lot of inquiries submitted. Because I know companies tend to deny you if you appears to be applying for too much credit in a short amount of time, or maybe you have a higher utilization reporting. So if I were you, I would want to get those credit cards that I do have the utilization low before you do a pre-approval, or try to space out when you apply for things, because you don't want to just be applying back to back like that, just to higher your chances. Credit profiles do vary though, so just keep that in mind. Now, some things to consider after doing some searching on YouTube, actually reading the comments, because for me, I do listen to what the content creators, the YouTubers are saying, because I know they take time to go out and research these things, or they come on here and they share their experience. But I also want to hear from the people who actually utilize these products that we get on here talking about. So I look at the comments. And a lot of people were saying that, this card has a high interest. It could be very damaging to your credit score. It kind of backfired on them, or, a lot of hidden fees and things like that, to beware of this card, you know what I mean? And so that led me to want to go do some digging on my own. So I did find that it does have a high interest. The standard interest on this card is 26.99%. However, and this may be the catch, is that they do the no interest period, because they have these promotional financing offers for you. So no interest if paid in full within 6, 12, 18, or 24 months. Care Credit only requires that you pay the minimum balance. But I know that could be a very bad thing if, you do that, but you don't have the funds to be able to pay this account in full while, before this promotional period expires, because then you'll get hit with a lot of interest. You know what I mean? And that may be one of the reasons why this particular card has a lot of bad reviews, is because life happens. And, we never go into anything thinking like, I'm going to get this and I expect to not be able to pay this back within 6 months. Like, we never think that. We think that, yeah, I'm going to be able to make these payments. That's why we picked the payment plan we did, or we accepted the offer, is because we felt like we will be able to pay it back, but life happens. I can see how this may not be a good thing if financially you're not in a good place. So your financial situation better than I do, better than whoever does. You know it better, so you should just kind of think about that before you accept this offer. Otherwise, you're going to get hit with a lot of interest and maybe a lot of other fees that may be in the fine print. Now, this could have the potential to help your credit profile because, this could improve your overall available credit, especially if you get approved for a higher credit limit, because it will lower your overall utilization. You don't have to allow this account to close or, just stop using it altogether once you've paid it off for your procedure. You can still continue to use this card at places like Walgreens or whatever healthcare providers or stores that you could use this card at to make small purchases, to keep it active, you know what I mean? So that it doesn't close. You could use your, I don't want to say like your health, but you could use your health to your benefit, assuming this isn't like a life or death situation, then it's like, fuck that credit score. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Like if it's a situation like that, yeah. But, yeah, so I already talked about the minimum credit limit. So again, your credit limit is kind of based not only on your score, but your income and your other existing debts, things that they can get a glimpse at when they take a look at your credit report by doing that soft pull when you do the pre-qualification. Now, to increase your credit limit there's no way to do so like a traditional credit card where you go into, your app or go on the website. You would actually have to call customer service and, see if you would be eligible for a higher limit increase. But I would advise you reduce any outstanding debt and make sure you update your income with Care Credit in whatever system you do before trying to get a higher credit limit, just so you have higher chances for that. So far, do I think like Care Credit is like, should you? I mean, I would just say, yes, you could use this for your benefit, but this may also come in the clutch for someone if you had an emergency pop up and you needed the additional funds, or maybe your insurance didn't cover everything. This could be there to pick up the slack, assuming that you get enough credit, available to you to be able to do so. This may help you out. So this is like a yes, but your situation better than I do. But to be approved, to have let me just say this, to have the opportunity to be approved to up to $25,000 will be very helpful to most people, especially now with so much going on, so many things happening, so many scares, so many germs and everything just ripping and running around, all these new things that just keep popping up. It's always great to have something at your disposal just in case a health scare, a health emergency happens, which I pray it doesn't, but just in case. If you do have the Care Credit card, please share your experiences, both good and bad, because I like to know. All right. Y'all have a great day. See y'all tomorrow.